Now here's your host, Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage.
Oh, yeah!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports and Metal Podcast. We are your hosts. This is Aaron Savage. With me over there, my partner in crime, Mr. Jason Voorhees. And before we get started, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors. First and foremost, our longest running sponsor, La Terrain Watches. Make sure you visit their website, www.laterrain.com. That's www.la-touraine.com. Use promo code SNM. That's the letters SNM as in sports and metal. And you're going to save 10% off your purchase at checkout. Also, check out our other sponsor, BetUS, betus.com. You can see right below me, there's an affiliate link there. If you can't see it because you're listening to the audio later on Spotify or Apple Podcast, look into this in the description of the episode. You'll see the affiliate link. You're going to get 125% bonus on your first $100 deposit. Make sure to check out BetUS. So anyway, what's going on, Jay? How are you?
Dude, it's been a while, man.
Yeah. Well, we're back. I'd like to say I'm doing great, but I'm upset about Edwin Diaz, my Mets closer, with the World Baseball Classic, the knee injury he suffered. Dude.
Bro, like I've been sick for a couple weeks now. I know you're literally sick.
I am sick to my stomach. You know, I was enjoying the World Baseball Classic, but to have, like, this is the one thing you worry about, right? You get a couple of your star players, they go in to play on the tournament. This is what you worry about. And here is Edwin Diaz out for the year. Whatever. I mean, you got to move on. Just, really quick though, the spring training has, shown this new rule that's been implemented with the pitch clock. What do you think of this? The pitch clock now, what is it? Batters have to be in the box, I think, with 8 seconds remaining on the clock, and then the pitchers have to throw the pitch before it gets down to 0. I think it's a 20-second pitch clock, whatever.
I love it. I'm
forgetting right now, but what do you think of it?
I love it. I think it's great for baseball. I think we talked all last year about how long games are and how it's really ruined baseball. Like, the modern day game is nowhere near what it used to be. Like, being able to actually watch a game, a 2-hour game, and enjoy it. And, obviously with the amount of strikeouts and walks and pitches that pitchers have thrown and the amount of actual pitchers that are entering games, all of that combined just makes the games long as it is.
It's like 4-hour games. We're back down this spring at these 2.5-hour games. So that's exciting. It kind of reminds me of how baseball used to be when we were growing up. But,
absolutely,
we're not going to stick with this. We have a very special guest tonight. Probably somebody that's not much of a baseball fan based on her location in the world. But we're super excited. You never know. Australia was in the World Baseball Classic. So there's a hint. They're from Australia. We're super excited. Let's bring her out. We're going to welcome Hellz from the band Hellz Abyss from Australia, Sydney, Australia. How are you, Lisa Perry?
Hey, Aaron. Hey, Jason. How the fuck are ya?
We're excited.
Absolutely. So just to let the audience know, Lisa Perry, better known as Hellz, is the lead vocalist of the band Hellz Abyss from Sydney, Australia. They're a metal band. They're kicking major ass. They have 2 albums out. I know Lisa herself has, worked with Rob Zombie, amongst other rock and metal legends. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Hellz?
Oh, most people just say I'm a troublemaker.
Awesome.
Like, you know what? No, bit of an addict to music, to rock, to metal. Love writing, love playing instruments, love bringing out albums, and love being real in front of people and kicking ass, just like sports, man, just like sports.
That's true. That's true. So your current project is Hellz Abyss.
Yeah.
You guys have 2 records out, right? And I think an EP. The band formed in 2019, am I correct?
Yeah, 2019. I just arrived back from the USA. I'd been over there working with Jeff Young from Megadeth, the original guitarist. Came back. I was working with him. I was Hellz while I was there because I stomp around like a crazy beast on stage. But came back here and decided to do my own thing and create Hellz and start bringing out some music, and ended up writing with another writer and a producer over here in Australia, and he had something that he was doing, so we combined it, became Hellz Abyss. He lost his mind, so I've gone off on my own.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I have to ask, how did you end up in the USA working with Jeff Young?
Oh man, that year was just like a whirlwind. You know what? That year I was sitting on my ass on the couch, and I'd been having a break for 2 years from it all, from the whole music thing, thinking, what else can I do for a bit, you know? And I just kept getting phone call after phone call. I went and stood up with one band and filled in for one show. By November that year, October that year, I was in the States working with him. You know, we just decided to write a few songs and get together and do a show, and yeah, just go for it. That's what you got to do in music, you know, just go for it.
Yeah.
Hadn't stopped.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I know Jeff's out doing the Titans of Thrash tour or whatever it's called with Dave Ellefson.
Yeah, he never stops either.
Yeah, yeah. So Hellz Abyss, you guys have 2 records out. Tell us a little bit about the band.
The band at the moment, well, these are the boys in the band. We're touring together. That's Raul. He's on guitar. He's just a crazy, he's a crazy Chilean. He's great. We call him out. He's our crazy man. We got Nick and Mick. Nice and rhyming. We keep it in.
Mm-hmm.
So Mick's our bassist, and Nick's on the drums. Got them all together. We go out there and we're just hitting up some really, really big shows at the moment and getting around Australia. Hopefully getting over to the US very, very soon, before the end of the year. We're knuckling down and trying to get over there.
That was my next question. I'm hoping for some US dates. Guys, if you haven't checked out Hellz Abyss, check them out. They kick ass. Kick ass.
Absolutely.
What would you say your influences are, Hellz?
Oh, me. Anything a bit strange and eccentric. But you know what, Sabbath and Zeppelin were they were it for me when I was a kid. Dio in vocals, amazing vocals. AC/DC, I'm very classic in what I like.
I hear that in the music. Yeah,
I like nothing but dirty rock, and just was full of expression and in your face. It's real, man.
AC/DC shirt on here tonight.
Oh yeah,
I had to represent the Thunder from Down Under. I had to do it.
So before the show, Aaron and I were talking, and of course Aaron laughed at me, but maybe it's cliche, but I see a lot of Lita Ford in your voice. Like you have vocal range that she had. Like I'm a diehard Lita Ford fan. I love Lita Ford. I love Jet. They're two of my favorite female vocalists, and like your range is right there. Like, I mean, obviously, like, you know, with Hellz Abyss, I think the songs were like a lot. There's like different styles. I could see like a ton of influences in there, but yeah. So I don't know if she was one of your influences, but I see a lot of her in you.
Yeah, I know. That's an honor, man. That's a really beautiful thing to say. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, Jay was saying he wants to hear you cover "Kiss Me Deadly."
Oh yeah, right.
If you ever do a cover, that's one I want to see.
All right, man.
So Hellz, tell us about your solo album.
Oh, the solo album came about. I was on tour last year around Australia, and some shit happened and it fell apart. Tour manager, everyone, it all fell apart. And I done some soul searching because there was a little bit of a breakdown at the end of it. A lot of nasty crap was being slung around at me. So instead of having a full breakdown, I thought, you know what? They're saying I don't play instruments. I'm going to play some instruments. They say I don't produce. I'm going to produce. They say I don't sing it. I'm going to sing it. And then I thought, well, you know what? Let's write an album and put it out there and just go, here, I did that, you know, so people can't, you know, keep saying I don't do those things, you know. It's all proof in the package, and some people are full of talk and some people do, you know, and that's what it was about, survival, hence why it's called Warrior.
That is fucking cool. Now this came out just in so this came out after the Hellz Abyss latest record, right?
Yeah. So this came out like it was not too long ago, like earlier this year.
Yeah, 2022.
Yeah, so I started
February 2nd, 23. Wait, 23 I meant to say. I'm sorry. Yeah, February 2nd, 2023.
I started doing it probably October last year, and just got an album together, kept it real, kept it raw. I produced it myself. I did have the amazing opportunity to work with Gorka Allegra over in Spain again, and Tolo Gramalt on guitar from Metallium. Amazing, amazing players and writers. And Gorka's an amazing producer. He helped me with the latest single, Hurricane. So that one is Gorka. And the rest, yeah, history.
I love the record. I got to be honest with you. I absolutely love it. Let's talk a little bit about the latest Hellz Abyss record, Blow.
Yeah.
I even hear a little bit of industrial in there.
Yeah, it was quite, there was an industrial kind of feel in there. The writer I was working with, Daryl Holden, at the time, he really liked his industrial side, so he'd bring that into the project, where I was more, come on, let's make it zombie, let's make it dirty. So a lot of that stuff, the industrial, we keep a little bit of it, but yeah, I'm more happy to go into the more dirty rock metal now and stay in my lane, you know.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's really I'm more like the sleazy old school rock. Like I like AC/DC, Rose Tattoo, Guns N' Roses.
Driving riffs, just stuff that gets you pumping, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. So Jay,
tell us a little bit about, tell us, like, okay, over touring in Australia, like, what's the biggest venue that you've played in Australia? And then let's go one further. What's the biggest venue you've ever played in?
Look, the biggest one we played in was a few years back though. It was with the previous band was my biggest, and that was huge. And we had like almost a 40,000 audience, and it was an Australia Day celebration, and it was massive. And we got to go on last when the fireworks are going off. You know, the big event of the day. And it was just sick, just standing there on stage, all them people just watching all them fireworks. So we thought, let's just bang out some Zeppelin. And we carved out some Zeppelin. It was an amazing show. And there's Honey, the hellhound. The door's closed. She ain't getting in here, I'll tell you that.
We all love dogs.
Man, I'd have millions of them if I could. I'm terrible.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing. I have to ask you another question.
Yeah.
How did you get into the music industry? Like, tell us like about your origins in the business.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I say to a lot of people, because I've never had a lesson and I've never really, you know, got into that part of it. From the moment I can remember, it was just in me. It's really hard to explain. It was kind of like it was installed at birth. It was there, and I've just taken to it every step on the way. It's just I gravitate there. I'm always there, and I really know no other way and no other place. Everything is creation and everything is music to me. So it's massive love for it. That's what I'm here for.
Awesome. What was the first project you were involved with professionally?
Professionally, the first project I was involved in was a band called Wookie Hollow, where my father was the drummer. He's an old English drummer back from the 70s. He thought, you know what, at least I'm going to get you off your ass. You've got to be in a rock band. So he set something up. Yeah, 10 years, worked my ass off with him. He was just tooth and nail, man. No, you couldn't be sick. There was never sick, you know. I think I did a show a week before I had my baby. And a week after I had my baby, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he taught me.
No rest for the wicked.
The show goes on. Yeah.
Yep.
So I got one. So besides your own band, what is your favorite band?
Oh, man, do you know what? I am so terrible with this because I love so much music. Me for favorites is hard. It's really hard. I do love Zepp.
That's what I always say. It's so hard.
I do love Zepp. I've always been a big fan of Zepp and Sabbath. They'd be my number one. I'm kind of a bit of I love my 80s rock.
Who doesn't?
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like a tramp of rock and metal. I go around and love everything a bit.
Well, I heard, I was looking at your TikTok just in preparing for the show. I heard a little Men at Work on one of your videos.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You can't be from Australia and not listen to Men at Work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like the national song, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's a prerequisite, right?
Absolutely. We need a good metal version of that. Has anyone come out with a metal version of that yet?
I don't think so, but there you go. I think that's in the cards for you.
I think Hellz is going to come out with a cover album. And there's gonna
Yeah, that would be cool one day to do something like that. I really want to do Sabotage, Beastie Boys. That's one of my favorites. Oh yeah.
I
Who
could
was it
see
the
that.
other day?
I forget what track I was listening to. One of your tracks, you had a little bit of scat rapping going on. I can't remember
Yeah,
what track it was.
that would have been yeah. I'm trying to think of what one that was.
I'm drawing a blank.
One of those.
one of those.
But yeah, I mean, that just goes to show we've heard so many influences in your music. Like I said, I really dig it. Now, I'm going to tell you this. My favorite band of all time is Guns N' Roses. I even hear a little bit of that in the music. I do. I hear that like guttural street,
Yeah,
like that
the big,
Appetite for Destruction
the big
pissed
ones.
off. Yeah, just the whole atmosphere of it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely, and that's the thing, man. That atmosphere is what we aim to achieve, and as a performer, that's what I aim to achieve. I remember watching Axl Rose once live, because I'll go around watching them to see, okay, what movements do they do and stuff and prep, And there was one where he holds the mic and he does that sway.
Serpentine.
And that was it. Oh man, from that moment on, I went up to a show one day, and if I ever get lost on stage for a moment, I do that and I'm right back in there. And he's like, thanks, Axl.
Awesome. So I have to let me ask you this question. I know it's difficult. It's difficult to rank your favorite, but if you had to give maybe a top 5 in no particular order of your biggest influences, who would they be? If you had to, just like what makes you as a performer?
Yeah. All right. So we're definitely Sabbath, definitely Zeppelin, definitely AC/DC. Yeah. Definitely Queen, and Chrissy Amplet from the Divinyls, chucking a woman in there as well.
Yeah.
Her sexy, ugly, beautiful stage attitude was just on fire. Like, she did it like no other woman, where she just gave no shits. Like, and that's what you got to do, man. If you're up there and you're giving any shit about what you're doing, you're a poser. You just got to go out there and do it fucking real.
Yeah.
Real ugly faces and all. It's my favorite photos, man. I get photos come back and I'm like, that's sick. Get the ugliest face. It's like, that's it. That's the moment.
That's what's real. Yeah, absolutely. That's what's rock and roll.
That's all about keeping it real.
Yeah,
that's
rock and roll. Yeah, absolutely. So I have a couple other questions for you. You're from Australia. I understand it's summertime there, right? It's a heat wave. Interesting. I've never been to Australia. I would love to go. Tell us a few things, that we would love about Sydney. I really am interested in it, honestly.
Yeah, all right. Well, where I live, do you know what a wombat is?
What's that?
Do you know what a wombat is?
I don't think
Every time I say this to you guys, I say, what's a wombat? Okay, so on my street, they're these big, furry, huge-looking things.
Oh, yeah, I do know what they are. Yes.
Yeah, I have them in my street. They come out at night. We have platypuses. You know what they are?
Yes,
they're like the big ones. We have those here where I live. We have just the animals are beautiful here, man. There's so many animals. Snakes.
Yeah, kangaroos. I would imagine. Kangaroos.
Where I live, you walk down the street and they have signs: "Beware of the snakes in this area." So so you always know. But no, it's the summers are beautiful. They're a bit too hot. You can handle it for 1 or 2 days, but after that, once the house is warmed up and you can't get the heat out of the house, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
I think it's the landscape, the mountains, the rivers, the oceans. It's just a really picturesque, pretty place.
Yeah, one of our commenters here just said that Australia's on their bucket list. It's on mine too. I mean, I've obviously never been to Australia, so it's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah,
it's
amazing
you'd love
that
it.
you've
It's
been to
pretty
the
cool,
States.
man.
What's
Get down
that?
to a bar, and do you know what a shoey is?
I do not.
You know what a shoey is?
Nope.
So in Australia, right, we have this thing, right, and it's called a shoey, and you don't have to do it because I don't do it. They'll when the men are around in their natural state at the pub and they've had enough to drink, someone will always do a shoey. So they'll get their beer, they pour it in their shoe and they drink it.
Oh, that makes sense. I don't know if I want to do that, but makes sense, shoey.
So when you get here, if someone says, "Do you want a shoey, man?" Say, "Nah."
No, thank you.
So how about the food? Like, so what is your staples?
Oh, here in Oz, I like Thai food.
I love
But
Thai
here,
food.
most of it's sausages and steak on the barbie, mate.
Yeah.
There's lots of barbecues, lots of salads. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's pretty international. Like we get a lot of different kinds of food, but I did notice when I was over in the States that we were driving up the road one day, and you just have like all this food available everywhere. You have so much stuff. Like here, it's slack, man. I got to drive for 20 minutes to get a donut. Like,
Yeah, but isn't that
what did they do to us here?
yeah, but doesn't that also speak volumes about the United States, the commercial, the consumerism? So
I can't say anything. There's like 4 bottle-os, like alcohol stores within a radius of 5K here.
nothing wrong with that, right? So when was your first time coming to the States?
Oh, I was about 17 when I first went over to the States. Came over there, did Disneyland, did Universal Studios, did Vegas, did a few cool things up and down Californian coast. Best moment was going to the bottom of oh my God, where did I go? I got it was in Nevada, the Grand Canyon.
Oh, in Arizona, the Grand Canyon.
Amazing, amazing. That was my favorite ever. Like going in that, it was sick.
I've been there. I've been there multiple times. Grand Canyon's on. You cannot tell anybody about it or describe it or show them pictures. Nobody will understand the grand scale of it unless you see it in person.
Yeah,
right?
It's an experience, man.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah.
I don't know if you ever went anywhere else in Arizona, but there's another cool. Sedona's really cool in Arizona.
My auntie lived in Sedona for a long time. I never got there, but that's where she lived. It was beautiful, and the rocks would change colors, and
the red rocks, and there's a vortex there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Arizona's a pretty cool place. But I got to tell you, I've always dreamed of visiting Australia. It's definitely a bucket list for me.
Well, I was just gonna say this is kind of off the cusp, but you were talking about the Grand Canyon. So I actually watched a documentary a couple of weeks ago on a huge volcano that you guys have that actually erupted when guests were going there to visit it. And I don't know if you've ever.
Oh, that was in New Zealand. That was in New Zealand, but it's still okay because I was born in New Zealand, so that's kind of relevant anyway. Yeah, that was bad. Hey, I grew up playing around craters because we grew up, and my nan, she had a fence, and we had an inactive volcano that was on the other side. So as kids, barefoot, we'd just run out and play on the volcano. And there's quite a few around over there, but there are a lot of inactive ones, but some of them are waking up. And this big one that went off, man, so many people lost their lives in that. That was tragic.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
I thought it was that you could actually visit a volcano, and I just thought to myself, like, that's not something I'd want to do, especially one that's active. Like,
no way. Best way to dispose of a body, though, eh?
Yeah, incinerated, right?
If the time comes, it could be.
Yep. So tell us. Here's another question I have, just about just being an Australian, us being in the United States. It's the farthest place in the world from us, really. What do you like for sports? Like what sports? I'm assuming you're not a baseball person.
No, well, we play softball here.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like similar, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean softball's baseball.
That was me. I was in softball when I was younger. I did that for a bit. But we're more NRL, so you've got your rugby, your footy. They call it the footy here, footy and the cricket, and they're very centered around them two things, and AFL, which is basically another type of football as well. So it's we're really big about that kind of stuff here. But I've been brought up in a English home, and we're soccer mad here, so it's Liverpool all the way. Our team.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends over there in the States that I'm not allowed to ring when the footy's on, and
the American style football. Is there any?
I'm not allowed to ring when that's on.
Yeah. So tell us, what are the big plans in 2023 for Hellz?
Oh, look, we're working really hard to get over to the USA. Look, one thing we absolutely know, and we've been told by a few amazing friends over here, like Rose Tattoos, one of our band friends, they told us we got to get out of Australia and we got to get over to the States. So our plan is 100% that, because that's our future. We know we got to get in that too. Yeah. Yeah, they're great guys. They're good friends of mine.
Huge fans. I love Rose Tattoo.
Are you really?
Well, I mean, I told you Guns N' Roses is my favorite band. So back being an 11-year-old listening to GNR Lies, nice boys, don't play rock and roll. That was my introduction to Rose Tattoo.
Yeah, absolutely. I went and saw them the other week, and that was fantastic. It's still kicking ass.
Awesome.
And when you see a live show with him in it, he just preaches angry. He just preaches to the audience, man. And it's like the church of rock. And you get in there and he just speaks to you, man. It's so good.
That is fucking awesome. That is awesome. Anyway, I really want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. Is there anything you wanted to ask Lisa before she leaves? Throw it out there, Jay. You got to have something for me.
On the spot.
All right, obviously, your favorite bands are Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, but obviously they're not touring now. If you could tour with any band in the world, any band right now, like
AC/DC
of today's era,
awesome. Awesome. And that's awesome for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah, or if I had to lessen a little bit, it would be Airborne, another good Australian band. I fucking love Airborne. They rock.
Love Airborne. Fucking love.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go to your first thing. Yeah, I'm going to go to your first point. The AC/DC tour would be awesome to have you guys on that tour, just because it would be such a grand scale, you know.
We'll open, and then Airborne can go on and be direct support, and then AC/DC can come on, and that would just be fucking perfect.
That's what I was just going to say. And the other reason it would be great is I want to see AC/DC back on the road. I'm just so scared that we're never going to see them on the road again.
Let's call Eddie Trunk and make this happen.
Yeah, let's do it.
I got to tell you about Airborne. I had a great experience the first time I saw Airborne. I was a little bit inebriated. I won't get into detail on what, but let's just say it was fucking awesome. I was in the crowd. He was what's his name? The guitar player and singer. I forget his name.
Yeah.
You know, he gets on the shoulders and he's banging the beer can on his head and the beer's flying everywhere. I love Airborne. And I don't know if you're a fan of Cobra Kai on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, Cobra Kai, yeah.
I love how they use so much Airborne music in that show.
Yeah, hell yeah. I swear.
Back in the game.
I saw them first, I think, in 2010. I was at a big day out, big concert here. I was playing in one of the smaller rooms, and they were on the main stage. Mm-hmm. And they were they were fabulous then, but it was early, you know. And then I hadn't seen them again until this year. They'd just come back from over there with you guys, and they were doing their first show back home in Sydney. And, man, the growth and the just massiveness that they are now is just, they should have been headlining that show. I can't even remember who was headlining now. They were that great. They were fantastic.
I couldn't really, but Airborne is on. I always tell Jay, you have to admit, I always tell you got to get more into Airborne. It's funny you say that. I'm always telling him that. They fucking kick ass. I mean, they have carried the torch for AC/DC into the new era.
Absolutely. And you know what? When I first heard them in 2010, I was like, you could really see that was their influence. And in one way, they were amazing, but it sort of turned me a little bit away because I was such a hardcore AC/DC fan. But then after seeing them again and really I ate my words. I completely ate my words. And I just, these guys, they're fabulous. They
are. And I'm going to use a point you made. You know what I love about Airborne? They are not apologetic. They wear that AC/DC influence on their sleeve, and they say, "Fuck you if you don't like it." Like they don't care. And I think,
and they love Lemmy.
Yeah, it probably led you in. I mean, it's like they're unapologetic about it. It's like this is what our influences are, and we fucking want to kick ass. That's
right. No, they've taken that though, and they've made it their own though. They haven't,
100%.
You know, they built that influence into their own brand, and that's a hard thing to do to separate from things like that. But they're carrying it on their own, and they're just kicking ass with it. Definitely, I'd go to their concert tomorrow if they were here again.
100%. 100%. Yep. I have another question for you. You have two albums out. You have Blow. And then you have the first one, N1FG. I meant to ask you this earlier in the show, but I forgot. What does N1FG mean?
Not one fuck given.
There you go.
So if you go on,
dude, that's a mic drop.
If you go on urbandictionary.com, and you type in N1FG, it comes up and it tells you the meaning. Hellz, something about, someone said you can't do it. Hellz said N1FG and did it anyway. And it comes up with my name.
That is fucking awesome.
Rad.
That is fucking awesome.
No one fucking them.
I want to thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
No worries. It's been awesome.
What's that, Jay?
No,
it must have been a glitch in the sound. I thought you said something. But yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I'm so happy to have you here. Listen, everybody out there, make sure you check out Hellz Abyss. They have 2 albums out, Not One Fuck Given and Blow. And then you're also going to want to check out Hellz's solo record. What's the name of the solo record again?
Warrior. You are a warrior. Be brave, be strong, kick fucking ass. Awesome.
Words to live by. I want to thank you for coming on. I know Jay does too. I want to tell everybody once again, make sure you check out our sponsors, lotsofrain.com. You're going to want to visit their website, www.la-toraine.com. Tongue twister there. Make sure you use our promo code SNM. That's the letters SNM as in sports and metal. And check out betus.com. Use our affiliate link. You can see it below me. If you're listening later on the audio, you'll be able to see it in the episode information, little description there. You're going to get 125% bonus on your first $100 deposit. As always, it's been awesome. Jay, Hellz, Lisa, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, guys. It's been sick.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
We love you.
Absolutely. Kick ass, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
And that's our show. Tune in next time for more Sports and Metal with Jason Voorhees and Aaron Savage. Woo, yeah! Got something to say? Hit us up at sportsandmetal0423 at yahoo.com or on Twitter